We are out here on the lake. What is this, Whole Lake? Whole Lake. Public shooting grounds on the Bear River Refuge. Every couple years we put in for the tundra swan hunt. We were lucky enough to draw three tags. So we're heading out today, just outside of Corinne, Utah, to the Bear River Refuge. I think I got up at 3:30 this morning, loaded up my truck, met up with my brother, my nephew, a friend, and my brother's father-in-law. Set up about probably 3 dozen swan decoys, a few dozen duck decoys. Birds started flying, I would say, about probably 9 a.m. this morning. I think my nephew was the first one to shoot one, but he was passing. That was a pretty far shot. It was like, say, 50-yard shot. Pretty far out there. Big old boy. Man, he was big. Big old head, big thick neck. Beautiful white mature tundra swan.
Woo! Dude, you got it, dude!
Wow! Yeah! Let's go! Let's go, baby!
Yeah, you call us crazy, but there's something about those big old birds. They're big old jumbo jets coming in, and man, when they come in and they're hooting at you and hollering, it's get your adrenaline pumping. So it was a good time this morning. I started hunting when I was 12 years old. Back then you had to be 12 years old to hunt waterfowl. Hadn't really grown quite much, so I was short and kind of husky because I hadn't really grown into myself. So I remember my brother taking me out. I just could barely hold up the shotgun, so every time I'd shot or shoot my gun, I'd fall back on my butt and he'd have to push me back up. And I'd shoot, and he'd push me back up, and shoot, push me back up. Yeah, I'll never forget it. I think I shot about 6 ducks that day, and the experience of just being out with him, because I've always wanted to go out with him, and being able to go was, I mean, I'll never forget it. I remember it like it was yesterday. Just being able to see my nephew, seeing him bring down that swan and seeing the emotion that, you know, him kind of getting a little teary-eyed because he's so excited really brings it all back. And again, that's the reason I do what I do, is just those experiences and that adrenaline. Seeing him pick up that bird and it being about as big as him, I mean, there's something about that. I mean, he'll never forget it. We'll never forget it, even though I didn't shoot that bird. Just being able to see him get that, I was just as excited as he was. So with waterfowl, there's a lot of prep that goes into it during the season and actually after the season as well. I mean, depending on what you're running and where you're hunting, we hunt a lot of open water, which requires a lot of decoys. So, you know, tying weights up to the decoys, cleaning your gun, getting ammunition, getting your gear ready. And then there's also just there's a lot of hiking that goes into hunting. I mean, unless you're hunting private land where it's got a cushion, you can kind of just chill. We hike, you know, every single time we go out, miles, right? Just depending on where we're going. If we're hunting Utah Lake, we're dragging a sled behind us filled with all our decoys, our gear, our gun, our layout blinds, or, I mean, you name it. I think sometimes as a society we get so wrapped up in the hustle and bustle of work and life, but often hunting has made me appreciate just the beauty that surrounds us, right? People always think that it's just an easy go when it comes to hunting, but it really is a lot of work that goes into it. So, I mean, there's a lot of challenges in hunting, but that's a part of the fun and the excitement is that it's not an easy thing, that you're always having to adapt and change. Taxidermy is interesting. A lot of people have a hard time with taxidermy. They think it's weird and don't quite understand what it's all about, and I definitely see why they think that. But I think taxidermy, if you think of it in another way, of not necessarily just, it's a dead animal on your wall, but more of what was the work and the memories and the story behind that animal. That's the biggest thing that people get hung up on, is just it being just something that's on our wall that's an animal, but it's so much more than that. Max Connect focuses on finding individuals that are driven and passionate about what they do. Most people can be taught skills, but really to do a job well and go above and beyond and really deliver exceptional work, you have to have passion and drive, and that's something that can't be taught.